this is going to surprise some people here, but not everybody. People say things to me all the time, but what you don't know is it does affect me. I think about it. And that one bothered me a lot. I was driving home, couldn't stop thinking about what this woman said because she's not the first woman that said that to me. It's puzzling. You know what I mean? Like, what could I possibly be saying that would make these bitches think I hate women?
Oh, God.
So you know what I did? I Googled the dictionary definition of a feminist just to make sure I was talking about the right thing. And do you know, sir, what the dictionary definition of a feminist is? I didn't either. Listen to this. Webster's defines a feminist as a human being, not a woman, a human being that believes in equal rights for women. I was shocked that that's what that meant. Because by that definition, I would consider myself a feminist. And I didn't even know that at the time.
Yeah. By that definition, I consider myself a feminist too. If you think about it, even the word is not even. It's like saying womanist. The word itself is not equal.
I thought it meant frumpy dyke.
Don't agree with it, but you have to, he's got the right to say whatever he wants.
I know. Look, listen. I support the feminist movement.
You don't have to agree with everything
my
you
own
hear.
ways. You guys did the Women's March. I tried to go and support you. And none of my friends would go with me. I asked all the fellas. None of them wanted to go. I tried everything. Come on, y'all. It's going to be bitches there. They was like, nope. So what I did is I called my friend Ange. Ange is a black woman who's a comedy writer, and she's dope. Matter of fact, she's the only woman that I know personally that pays her ex-husband alimony. And she sounds just like a man when she does it. Fuck that broke motherfucker. So I hit Ange up. And I hit her on the text. And all I did, I texted her. I said, Ange, are you going to the Women's March? And she texted me back. And it was a real text. She said, I hope those white bitches get tear gas. There's always been a racial component. When Susan B. Anthony was having that meeting and Sojourner Truth's black ass showed up. Read your history books. All them white women asked Sojourner Truth not to speak. They didn't want to conflate the issues of women's rights and slavery. But you know how black bitches are. Sojourner Truth went up there anyway. She did a famous speech. She said, ain't I a woman? Ain't I a woman? That's right. And listen. I supported the Me Too movement, but the whole time, I thought that the way they handled that was stupid. It was white. It was like, they were doing shit like going to the Golden Globes, and all of them would be like, let's all go to the Golden Globes and wear black dresses and give these men a piece of our mind. Bitch, that is not gonna work. You think Martin Luther King's gonna be like, I want everybody to keep riding the bus but wear matching outfits? You gotta get off the bus and walk.
Hard truth.
It's real talk. Real talk, that was a silly movement. I want everybody to wear crocheted pussy hats so they know we're serious. What the fuck was y'all doing?
He wants to get in trouble. That's the thing. He is out for blood, and he wants to upset everybody who's going to fall for the bait. It's the closer. He's closing his career off. I think he's just basically saying, this is it for a while, and I'm going to upset as many of you as I can before I leave. And he's doing it in a way that is Yeah, you could argue that it's distasteful. You can argue that it's offensive. But in order for something to be true, it has to be true. And that's the beauty of comedy, you know. He's putting it in a way that makes you think. It's very thought-provoking. And it makes me think about, you know...
But I think the feminist movement needs to be very successful. It's my leader.
Oh, here we go. The wind-up.
I'll do it. I will. I will lead you women to the promised land. I will make sure you get equal pay for equal work. I will make sure that nobody harasses you or fucks with you on the job. I will protect all of your interests and all that I ask for in return. Was that you suck my dick? Lived in San Francisco. Daphne Dworman is the name. I would do 18 shows in the Bay Area, sometimes in Oakland and Dirty Hood nightclub, and she would be there, a white trans woman, laughing loud and hard at everything I said, especially the trans jokes. It's very puzzling. Because she was obviously trans. And one night after one of the shows, I met her. And what it was, turns out, it was her dream to be a comedian. And I was her hero. It's very moving. I could not dislike somebody that felt that way about me. We became fast friends. And when I made that special Sticks and Stones, right as it was coming out, I happened to be in San Francisco and I wanted to do a show, but I needed an opening act. And I remembered that trans woman I had met. So I called her on the phone. And I called her myself. I said, hey, Daphne, this is Dave Chappelle. She couldn't believe it. And I go, I'm in San Francisco. And then she started saying a bunch of wild stuff. I was like, relax now. I don't want any pussy. I was, I was calling because I'm doing a show and I need an opening act. And I was wondering if you'd open the show. And she was like, fuck yeah. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but this woman had only done stand-up comedy 8 times in her life. This is little to no experience. And now she's about to open a show for what many call the GOAT. She's an amateur in stature, but in practice, she was very professional. She showed up early, which is something I appreciate because I like people to be on time. She was dressed to the motherfucking nines. I mean, I'm transphobic, and even I was like, you look nice.
He's joking, guys. He's a comedian.
Went up on the stage with all the swag of a professional comedian, grabbed that mic and walked right down the middle and looked at the crowd like a gangster. Man, you should have seen her work. This bitch bombed for 45 minutes straight. And I am not exaggerating, young man. That show was terrible. Stunk. Stunk. And then she brings me on, and you know, I was like a glass of water after a handful of salt. The crowd was happy to see me. I was killing it. But here's what impressed me. Any other comedian I've ever seen, if they had bombed as bad as she did, would have snuck out of the back of the theater and went home and cried or something. And she didn't do that. Not only did she not leave, she found a seat right up in front. You know, when a new comedian watches an experienced comedian in comedy, we call this taking class. And this bitch took my whole class. She sat up there and was laughing as hard as she always laughs, as if nothing bad had even happened to her. And I saw her show. Something bad happened to her. She was drunk. So she starts talking to me while I'm on stage, but the way a person would talk to a television when they were alone. She's talking to me like that. That didn't bother me because I knew her, but the crowd didn't like that shit at all because she sucked. And a guy in the back of the room stood up, and Daphne's hair was dyed blonde at the time, and the guy screamed out, and his energy felt wild as fuck. He said, "Hey, Daphne!" And everybody kind of clamped, like got tense. We didn't know if it was a heckler or an active shooter. And he said, "Does the carpet match the drapes?" Yeah, it was fucked up. The whole crowd kind of groaned because it was so, like, mean. Everybody groaned, except for Daphne. She kind of laughed, which was weird. And then she didn't even look all the way back. She said, "Sir, I don't have carpets. I have hardwood floors." Just like that. Just like that. And boy, when she said that shit, it blew the roof off the place. Cut through all the tension with that one joke. She made up for 45 minutes of a stinker of a show. And after that, she could do no wrong. And I kept on rocking. She kept on talking to me. And then the show became something cooler than a show. It became like a conversation between a black man and a white trans woman, and we started getting to the bottom of shit. All them questions that you think about that you'd be afraid to ask, I was just asking them, and she was answering them, and her answers were funny as shit. The crowd was falling out of their chairs. And at the end of the show, I go, "Oh, Daphne," I said, "Well, that was fun." I go, "I love you to death, but I have no fucking idea what you're talking about." The whole crowd laughed, except for Daphne. Now she looks at me like I'm not her friend anymore. Like I'm something bigger than me, like I'm the whole world and a guy. And she said, "I don't need you to understand me." I said, "What?" She said, "I just need you to believe," just like this. She goes, "that I'm having a human experience." And when she said it, the whole crowd kind of gasped. And I gave it a Fight Club look. I said, "I believe you, bitch." Because she didn't say anything about pronouns. She didn't say anything about me being in trouble. She said, "Just believe I'm a person and I'm going through it." And oh, I believe you because it takes one to know one.
Can I just say, you know, that didn't sound very transphobic to me.
We all laughing real hard, and then she's telling us, and everyone's laughing. I'm looking around, I'm like, oh my God, she is funny. I pulled her aside and I said, "You're hilarious." I didn't know that when you were on stage. I said, "You're doing some things wrong, but I can help you." I said, "Anytime I'm in San Francisco, why don't you open the show for me, and I'll just try to give you some pointers, see if you can't work this thing out." And she said, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Yeah." And she grabbed me real tight, hugged me, squeezed me, and I pushed her off violently because I'm transphobic. I said, "Boundaries, bitch."
That's just it, isn't it? That's just it. He's joking. He's a comedian. He's allowed to joke. And you know, with free speech, you should be allowed to talk about whatever you want. And that's what it comes down to in the end. Free speech. Now, I believe there are mechanisms already at play. If someone says something that upsets people, they won't have any friends. And those are the social mechanisms that keep everybody in check. You know, if someone's going to be an arsehole, for some reason in this day and age, people glorify the idea of being an arsehole. People want to go out of their way to try and be an arsehole because they don't want to be a pushover. And it's so important in this day and age, as much as it ever has been, that people can talk about whatever they want to talk about freely with no consequence.
I have been arguing with the whites my entire career. And just when I thought I had you guys on the ropes, you changed all the rules. "Oh, yeah? Yeah, motherfucker." Well, I'm a girl now, nigger, and you must treat me as such. Call me a girl, nigger.